Hey, welcome to Life in the God Lane. I'm Tom West. These are my power verses for the day for the 22nd of December 2021. And I call this message, these are Matthew classics, but I call this message Burdens Lifted. Burdens Lifted. Matthew 11:28 through 30. We are sliding into Christmas 2021. And I'm trying to figure out what happened to 1967 because I'm an old guy. Okay. But each Christmas, burdens go way up for people. Alcohol and drug abuse go way up because burdens go way up. Depression launches in people's lives at Christmas. And you would think that there would be some way to lift the burden. There is. There is a way to lift the burden. Matthew 11:28 through 30. Jesus is speaking, and he says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." These are the words of Jesus, and he speaks directly to people who are weary and burdened. You ever been weary or burdened? I have. Maybe you're weary and burdened today. It happens. Well, he promises rest for those who are weary and burdened. So how do we find his rest? It's an interesting concept. His answer is that we take his yoke upon ourselves and learn from him. So what does he mean by taking his yoke upon us? A yoke is the wooden cross piece that is fastened over the necks of two animals, two beasts of burden, and is attached to a plow or a cart for them to pull it. That's what puts them together so they have the capacity to pull. So hook up to pull Jesus' burden, and you will learn from him, and he will give you rest. That's kind of a wild concept. Take on Jesus' burden, take on more burden. For what purpose? To get rest. Take on a bigger load so you can rest. This is the most counterintuitive statement in the history of the world, but it's true. Jesus says that when you take on his yoke, that is his heavy burden, you learn from him. And that's important. I want to learn from Jesus every day. What you learn is that he is gentle and humble in heart. And when you yoke up to Jesus' burden, he counterbalances the burden with his gentleness, with his humility, and with his rest. How he does that is a miracle, but he does that. His burden is easy and light. His capacity, the capacity of Jesus, the capacity of God, applied to you, lightens your load and gives you rest in the midst of a bigger load. So put his yoke on. That means surrender to him as Lord unquestionably, and your burden will be lifted, and you will find rest from him. I'll see you tomorrow.